you'll be really jazzed to have this figure. Hey, what's up interwebs? I'm that toy guy, and today I'm going to be taking a look at the Transformers Titans Returns Leader Class Generations Dreadnought and Overlord. So here he is, they are, I don't know. Here's the box. So Overlord, 4 modes, Transformers, Decepticon symbol, Overlord, pictures, bio, yay. Now, one quick thing I want to say about this box is, just getting Overlord out of the way, it doesn't fit in frame. This is a very, very sturdy cardboard box. This thing costs a retail price of $60 here in Canada. This has a very, very sturdy, thick, corrugated cardboard box. This figure right here costs $70 to $80 in Canada. Has a smaller, much weaker box than this thing. I don't understand this. But anyway, I'll get more into that later on when I get back into Overlord's toy. But box. Now, again, if you saw my Nitro Zeus review, then you know already about how much I hate the new Hasbro instructions. And that carries on over to this. Because this is so small. You can't, that's, what? What? I don't get what the heck is going on here. This just, okay, here it's fine because the pictures are big, but Hasbro's graphic designers for the instructions. Dark pictures, dark small wireframe pictures with dark purple to show off the steps that are very small on a dark background doesn't work. Like on this side it's fine because the pictures are bigger. But when the pictures are this small, that doesn't work. Whatever happened to the white instructions with the brighter colored steps that were bigger? Whatever happened to those? Those were great. These are terrible. This seems like more of a waste of ink because it's black. You could save more money just doing white paper. But whatever. Anyway, here is Overlord in his jet tank split mode thing. I don't know. Let's take a look at the tank first because it's my least favorite. Not saying it's bad, it's just my least favorite. So here is the tank in all of its tank glory, and this is about all it does. I mean, it rolls. Rolls very well, being on 3 plastic wheels. This one doesn't really spin that well. But yeah, it doesn't rotate, and it doesn't go up and down. And you might be thinking, oh, well, it's going to split and all that. Well, no. They could have put 2 half mushroom pegs in with those little tabs that help them stay on. And they could have made the peg on this fold up and put a mushroom slot on each side of this and a mushroom peg on each side of the actual canopy here. And you can just clip this in. It can go up and down and rotate. But they didn't do that. That's kind of disappointing. It would have been very easy, but, you know, they didn't. Other than that, though, the tank looks very nice. You got some very nice sculpted detail going on throughout this entire thing here. Very nice. You got a machine gun at the top there. You got the little cockpit. These are stickers, and that one's been peeling off ever since it came out of the box. Yeah, overall, it looks very nice. Underneath, crotch, hips, heels. But yeah. Now, I want to point something out real quick. Actually, you know what? No, I'll do that in robot mode. Makes more sense there. Just for a comparison, here he is next to Skydive. As you can see, the tank is about deluxe height. For another comparison to a Titans Return tank, here is Blitzwing. Just so you can see there, the Voyager tank is quite a bit longer and to the same width, but it's definitely more pudgier and bigger. And my chair just decided to spring up on me all of a sudden. But yeah, that's basically it for the tank. Now, my favorite part of this figure is the jet. I really love the way the jet looks, because it is stylized and based off of the SR-71 Blackbird, which is my favorite plane. I liked it way before Revenge of the Fallen, so yeah. But yeah, you can tell that because of the rounded booster engines and the way the wings are and the way the cockpit is. You get rid of these and there you go, you have an SR-71 Blackbird. It's really cool. Very nice sculpted detail going on throughout this jet too. That's paint, that's a sticker that's also peeling off. These are stickers. Sticker, Yeah. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Now, this is well, Sky Shadow is technically the repaint remold of this figure, but this figure came out second. So it still has that drone thing you can do. I think this is how the drone worked. I'm not 100% sure. I don't really care if it's Sky Shadow. But yeah, it does that. You got a landing skid there that folds up and clicks into place very, very softly. And if you open up these two panels underneath, you can tab it into the tank. There are these little holes right there, and these tabs that tab into the tank. Tab into the tank. Come on. I know how much you want to tab into the tank. There we go. And you can combine the two. Now, in theory, you should be able to lift this as well. But because this one on mine is incredibly loose, this doesn't work. The tank's too heavy. And that's one of many, many loose joints on my figure. As you can see, this likes to bend a lot, and that's aggravating as well. So just for a quick size comparison here next to the tank. Whoa, my focus just went really bright there. There you go. Here he is next to the tank. Here he is next to Skydive. So you can see the jet's about Voyager size. And here is a Voyager jet. Here is, if I can reach it, here is Nitro Zeus. And as you can see there, he's about Voyager length. I mean, Nitro Zeus is pretty long for a jet former, but yeah, he's about Voyager size. Get out of here. So, these things, they have, well, first of all, they have a collector's card. I forgot to point that out. There's a collector's card. There's the stats. Yay. You get, what's his name? I think it's Dreadnought? Is that his name? Yeah, Dreadnought. Here is Dreadnought, and he's got a painted head, which looks really cool. I really like the way this Titan Master was done. And on the back, you have the big upside-down face. But yes, these things do have Titan Master incorporation. So, for the tank, open this up, take Dreadnought, sit him in there, close it up. Why is my tank wobbly all of a sudden? Oh, whatever. There you have Dreadnought in the tank. Yay. In the jet, you open up the cockpit right here, sit him down in there, just peg him in. Now he's in the jet. Now, the jet has another cool feature. This is more for base mode, but it still kind of functions in here. He's got that sort of Imperial Shuttle or Millennium Falcon style drop-down little landing thing there, so you can fold that down, I guess. I don't know. I think it's cool. But yeah, speaking of base mode, let's get into base mode. So we'll start with the tank. So the first thing you want to do is you want to remove the cannon, and that's very difficult. What you want to do is grab it from here and put your thumb on this little tab right there and just wiggle it, and that should give you enough leverage to pull it out without snapping this off. So take the cannon, put it off to the side. Take the legs here and split them. Rotate them out just like so. Now this is the front-facing section of the crotch, which is going to be face down. So you're going to want to take this and rotate it 180 degrees, like that. Bring the legs out all the way, and then fold them in at this hinge. And then you can fold the tank barrel, tank turret things in, but I like to leave this one out. Then you want to open up these sections here, fold out these little clips, and that's how you connect it to other bases and Triptychon and Fort Max. So we'll just get all that out, like so. And there you have the bottom section of the base all done. Yeah, that's the bottom section of the base. Now to get the top section of the base, the first thing you want to do is fold up the landing gear and pull this entire section off, like so, and just put that off to the side for now. The next thing you want to do is you want to take these panels and bring them down and tab them in. Bring them down and tab them in. Then you want to take the arms here and you just want to extend them ever so slightly. Then you want to take this section, just bend it forward, and then you plug them in, just like that. Now you want to take these little purple wings and fold them in like that there. Now you take the cockpit, again, fold out the landing skid, push this section out, like so, and tab it in this way. And there you have a base mode, I guess. I don't know. I think that works. That sort of works, yeah. This is probably one of the better base modes that they've had for Titans Return figures. Well, Titans Return leader figures anyways. The base formers are the best base formers because they're actual base formers. This is not. Well, this sort of was in G1, but they're trying to do it here, and yeah, I guess it works. You got Titan Master posts all around this guy, so you can plug them in. There's there, and then you can put one in there. You can put one in here in the cockpit, and the gun can just peg into there, but it's very tight, so I'm not going to do that. Size comparison. Let's move on. So, to get him in the robot mode, let's just pull him in half again. And let's work on the legs. So, rotate that back up. Bring the legs back around to where they were previous. Fold up these sections here. Bring this forward and bring out the foot. There you have a leg all done. Just do the same thing on this side. There you have his legs all complete. Jet mode. Fold this up. Pull it off. Fold that down. Fold out that little post. Put that off to the side. Take this section. Fold it back down. Rotate it up. Rotate it up. There we go. Just like so. Untab the shoulders. Pull the arms out all the way. Fold in those wings. Flip out the hands. Turn them around. Make sure your exposure is not too bright. Fold this back. Rotate the head. Flip that up. Take Dreadnought here. Fold him in half. Plug him in. Close that up. And then connect him together. And there you have Overlord in his robot mode, and we finally have a proper looking Overlord. I'm so happy. Now, if you read the IDW comics, well, if you don't read the IDW comics, what's wrong with you? Read them; they're really, really, really good. Especially More Than Meets the Eye and Last Stand of the Wreckers, which is where this guy is based from. Is Last Stand of the Wreckers and then More Than Meets the Eye. So, does he look like his comic book counterpart? Kinda. I mean, he's not supposed to be based off of that comic book counterpart, but there are some design cues, like the knee pads and the black fists, and the way his face looks is very comic book accurate. But yeah, he's still really, really cool. I really do like how this looks. He's getting in, well, raise the camera up because he's a leader class. He's a lot bigger than what I normally take a look at. He's getting in closer on that face sculpt there. Very nice face sculpt, and I love how the helmet just encompasses the whole thing. There's no gaps or anything like that. So it's pretty cool. And the helmet sculpt is very nice as well. You can get some sculpting on the back there, which is really cool. And just overall stickers. You got some nice detail going on here. There's some homage to G1 where he had those little cannons there. I think my favorite part about this figure, though, is the way that the legs are done. I really like the sculpted detail, the paint work on this. Speaking of which, paint work. You got paint, 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 all down the legs, paint there, and then some paint on the face as well. And paint here, and then there's paint on the back of this butt section that's inside here as well. There is a lot of paint on this guy, which is very, very good because we don't get a lot of paint on more modern style Transformers. Now, speaking of which, here is a more modern style Transformer, a leader class, that I will now talk about. This, again, retails for $60 here in Canada. I paid $30 because it was on sale. This, you recall me saying, costs around $70 to $85 here in Canada, and comes with a crappy, flimsy box. This comes with a very strong box. This comes with a very strong figure. This comes with that piece of garbage here. Why does that cost more? I know all the kibble's been removed and whatnot after the video I made of that. Why is this more? Why is this $15 more than that? This is so much better. This plastic feels sturdy, it's solid, it's weighty. This just, well, exactly like that. This is just an overgrown piece of garbage. Why is this more expensive than that? It makes no sense. Hasbro, your marketing's terrible. Get out of here. Oh, he broke. Good for him. There, that my little rant's out of the way. Weapons, you can take this and peg it into his shoulder, and you can take this and peg it into his hand, and there you go. Now, here's where my issues come into play. First issue, elbow, extremely loose. Second issue, shoulder. Yeah, that's kind of terrible. Third issue, arms are also extremely loose. Now, there were a ton more issues on this figure, but I have fixed them. For example, the shoulders would not tab in to the torso when I got this out of the box. And the way to fix that is you loosen up this screw here and there on the upper arm. I forgot what that's called. And that allows for more space in between the actual peg. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, the actual peg and this piece of plastic here. So when you peg it in, it doesn't stress and it doesn't snap, or it doesn't not go in. So that's the fix to the first part of the toy. That's wrong. The second part is the loose elbows. Now normally you'd think, oh, just tighten these screws. No. You got to tighten those screws, and then you got to pop out that pin right there, and then you can take this whole thing apart, put some thickening agent inside the arm, and put it in place. Now I don't want to pop that out just because I don't want to. Now the knees were also very loose. Now this is easy, just tighten that screw there, and that fixes the problem. The thigh swivels were extremely loose, tighten those two screws, that fixes that problem right up. My ankle pivots are also pretty loose as well, and that's also a pin joint, and it's a very awkward pin joint to get at, so I'm not going to bother fixing it. Other than that, that was really the issues I had with this guy, and I fixed most of them. Now, articulation wise, the head can do a full 360, and oh the joy, Titan's Return figure can decapitate, can look up. He has a proper up and down dedicated hinge, and that can look up anywhere. It can go that way, look up, it can go this way, look up. That's great. Shoulders can do a full 360. They can go out at that joint and then at a second joint on the shoulder, which is what I use when posing this shoulder around. You do have a bicep swivel, single jointed elbow, nothing at the wrist, nothing at the waist. Hips can go forward, they can go back, they can go out that far. He does have a thigh swivel, just under 90 degrees of bend, and wow, that's a lot of ankle pivot. Like look at this. Now that's ankle pivot right there. That's how you do ankle pivot. Just getting him back up here. Now, for a comparison, here he is next to a deluxe class toy. Here is Skydive. He's taller. Whoop-de-doo. Now, here he is next to some of his comic book counterparts. So let's start off with, okay, before any of you get excited, they're not Mastermind Creations figures. I don't own any of those because they're expensive. It's like, what, 80 bucks for a K-On plus shipping from the US, which is a lot to bring into this country. It's like $40 shipping or something. I don't know. Here is Cyclonus, the Universe 2.0 Cyclonus. There's that. Here you have him next to Deadlock / Drift. This is the Henkei version. So, yeah. There you have that. Here he is next to the Chief Appointed Executive Officer of the Tyrest Accord, or whatever the heck it's called. And there's also your comparison between the Combiner Wars and the Titans Return leader, and they're exactly the same. Here he is next to Minimus. Exactly, you can't see him, he's too small. Here he is next to Chief Medical Officer in Training First Aid. Right there. Here he is next to Chromia. If I can get her to stand. There's Chromia. Here he is next to Skywarp. Did you follow the Cybertron version? Because that showed up in the comics. Yay. Here he is next to Cup. There's Cup. Right there. Which, by the way, over time... Yeah. So be careful with your Cup figures. here he is next to the arch nemesis, well, one of his arch nemesis, Springer. I don't have that, what was it, Perfect Effect Warden? I don't have that, so can't compare him to that, although I would love to get one. And here he is next to poor old little Rewind. And yeah, is that too soon? Yeah, that's too soon. It's still too soon, even though the comic was written a couple years ago. So now, if you've read the comics, you know why I pulled up all those characters. Now, for weird and unexplained features that are not, well, they're unexplained. They're not in the instructions, but you can still do them. So for starters, you can take this off, and there's a tab and a port. Like, why? Why is that a thing? I mean, I'm not complaining. It's not taking away from anything. If you don't want it there, you don't have to do it. But just why is it a thing? It's not in the instructions at all, but you can... That's on there. That is solid. That's not coming off. That's weird feature number 1. Now, weird feature number 2 is really, really cool, and I think it's probably one of the rare, if not the only time, I've seen a Transformers figure in anticipation for the next line. Because normally, the Generations lines and whatnot don't play into the one after it. Like, for example, you had Classics and then Universe and all that, and they never really tied into each other very well. I mean, figures generically looked the same. That was about it. But because this is part of the Prime Wars trilogy, Combiner Wars, Titans Return, Power of the Primes, you're going to have some of that. And now Overlord back in G1 was a Power Master. And you could stick 2 Power Masters in his chest. You can do the same thing here. Now, Power of the Primes is sort of like Power Masters, so you're going to be able to do that. And Power of the Primes Prime Master, that's what they're called, is going to look like one of these. Like a Titan Master. It'll do the same folding thing, but instead of a big face jutting out the front, it'll be a nice little flat thing, a detail to look like an engine or a power source or something like that. So you'll be able to take them and plug them into his chest. Into the chest cavities. Just like that. There's Blitzwing and Hot Rod. And then you'll be able to fold them up. You can't fold these ones up fully just because they're molded faces, but the Power of the Primes ones are flat, so my guess is you'll be able to fold them up. So yeah, that's a really cool feature. I like how that's in anticipation for the next line. There is one problem with it, though, that I can see very easily, is getting these things out of here is a pain in the ass. Like, you push it in there all nice and snug, and then you gotta wiggle it loose like that, and you gotta get a grip around the head. If the Power of the Primes ones are flat and they go in there, how are you supposed to get that out? There's no like release button or anything. That's what I thought this was, and there is a gaping hole in there. It's hard to see, but there's a gaping hole in the side here for this to act like a release button, but it's not. So yeah, whatever. But you can do that, and that is really cool, and that's not in the instructions, which kind of disappointing, but then again, I can understand why it's not. So yeah. What else is there for weird features? Oh yeah, you have high heel mode. I'm just kidding. I'm just rambling at this point. Is Overlord worth the pickup? That is the main question you have to ask yourself. And originally, I wasn't gonna. Then Toys R Us had a 20% off sale, and they put this guy out. And a 40% off sale. They put this guy out, and there was a mistake because he wasn't technically supposed to be out. According to them, I bought this like a couple days ago, and according to Toys R Us's scanning thing, he wasn't supposed to be out yet, which is weird. And I'd previously tried ordering this online, and that didn't work as well. Guessing because it's not supposed to be out yet. So when I got to the counter, they scanned it, and they said, okay, this is not on sale, and it's not supposed to be out. So we can't give it to you. And I said, but it's also available online. And technically, if it's available online and it's available in stores, even though it's not supposed to be out, you should be able to sell it to me by law. And they looked it up and they're like, yep, we can sell it to you for this sale. And then I learned something at my work. Now I work at the Hudson's Bay as a watch salesman. Yeah, I know, boring job. But actually no, it's not. It's very fun. But this guy, not this guy, but one person came up to me with a shirt they wanted to buy. It was individually tagged. and the individual tag price was different than what's scanned up. So the scan price was regular, but the ticketed price had 25% off. So we have to give him the 25% off. But he brought up this law in Ontario, the Ontario Code of Practice, where if something is wrong like that, you get $10 off your entire purchase. But that only works for mass ticketed items. And what a mass ticketed item is it's a price tag for on the shelf, and then you have 7 or 8 things of the same thing. Like, for example, a price tag, this is 99 cents for oranges. You have 50,000 oranges. If that price is wrong, it's 99 cents, it's supposed to be 89 cents, you get $10 off that price. Well, it probably won't work for 99 cent stuff. You might just get 10% off that price. But if it's something higher than like $12 or $13, you get $10 off. So I said that to them. I said, because this guy and then a bunch of Sky Shadows, and there was a bunch of Sky Shadows and 6 shots, they were all there. But he was not on sale. I said that the exact Sky Shadow is the exact same toy for the exact same price as it said. It just said Transformers Generations Leader Assortment on the price tag. It didn't say Overlord, so it's leaders. This guy was not on sale originally when they scanned it up, and then they had to override the price to give it to me for the sale. And then because of the law, they gave me an extra $10 off. So I got this for $30. Thank you, Ontario Code of Practice laws, for giving me this figure for $10 less than what it should have been. But is he worth the full $60 is basically what I'm trying to get at. Yes, he is. Is he worth it more than Sky Shadow? That's up to personal preference to you. If you like Sky Shadow a lot, then yeah, get Sky Shadow over Overlord. If you're like me and you like Overlord a lot, then yeah, get Overlord. But if you're the weirdos and you like this thing more, don't get this. It's terrible. I'm just kidding. He's definitely worth the pickup. Definitely get him, and you'll be really jazzed to have this figure. Megatron,
come here, little cretin. You want a piece of me? You want a piece? No, I want 2.
I made a bad joke. But yeah, overall, this figure's pretty good, and I would say, yeah, pick it up if you have the money, the means, and if you find one. It's so hard to find these days. Like, my Toys R Us and my Walmart and my Real Canadian Superstore, and that's it, really, are still selling Wave 2 of Titan's Return. 2! Yeah, this is what, Wave 5, Wave 6? I don't remember, there's so many of them. But yeah, he's definitely worth it. If you do have those problems that I did mention, I told you how to fix them, so you can fix them that way. But yeah, that's basically it. So that's been my look at the Transformers Generations, Titans Returns, Leader Class, Overlord, and Dreadnought. And I'm that toy guy, and stay tuned for my next video.